Hi, I'm Richard Randall, and welcome to Your Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker, the owner of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. This is the weekly radio show that informs and educates you on how to buy or sell real estate with Colorado's Real Estate Authority, Barb Schlinker. Barb Schlinker is a retired Navy veteran. Barb's also an author. Barb is a pilot as well, and Barb and her team enjoy all that Colorado and the Front Range have to offer. Barb, always great to be talking with you. Now, we air Your Real Estate Voice every Saturday, and if you can't listen to the entire show, it is always available on Barb's site, barbhasthebuyers.com, or go ahead and search Barb and most popular podcasts like iHeartRadio, all of those platforms. So, Barb, what are we talking about this morning?
Well, Richard, I'm excited as always about today's show because we're getting a lot of people kind of shocked. They're so used to their house going on the market and then boom, it sells pretty quickly, but that's not happening right now. And as a result, people are having to lower their prices, and we're having this downward pressure on home prices right now, and the sellers are getting really frustrated. So I get calls every week. Hey, what do I do? My house is on the market, it's not selling. And I try to help them. Some people I can help. So, what we're going to talk about today is how to sell your Colorado home in a down or declining slightly market. It's weird because the national stats are indicating that overall, as compared to a year ago, the prices are higher, which they are. However, we have seasonality. So, like during the springtime, the rates were about 6%. And during those times, the prices were going up. So, we haven't given back all of our increases. But if you need to sell now, you have to price it what I call it very realistically versus optimistically. And then we're going to talk about what home improvements actually add the most value when you're selling your house in Colorado. And this is a topic that I have to agonize with every time I have a listing go under contract. There's always negotiations, disputes, cat fights over inspections. So we're going to talk about the biggest red flags on a home inspection in your house when you sell a house in Colorado, and kind of how you can prepare for it. So when it is time to sell, you're ready, and there should not be any surprises once you've already committed to a buyer to sell your house. And the last thing, which I get questions about a lot, are a checklist to downsize your house before you sell your home. And I think that information is really good for a lot of people because I have a whole bunch of folks that actually are downsizing, in particular, not just to a smaller home, but like a lot smaller home. So I get questions about, what do I do with this furniture? And where do I sell the furniture? Who wants my furniture? And you'd be surprised on what we're going to talk about. So I'm excited about this topic. Richard?
So, Barb, as mortgage rates go higher, fewer buyers can afford to buy homes. How does a Colorado home seller get their home sold in a market that appears to be correcting in a downward trajectory?
Well, Richard, the last time I saw prices walk back substantially was during the meltdown between probably 2008 all the way through 2011. 2011 in this market actually marked the bottom of prices after that correction. And actually, most real estate agents were not in the business when that took place. I was. So what we're going to talk about is just kind of overall what the market's doing right now. Is it like that meltdown? What are the mortgage rates doing, and how that impacts what we do going forward? How you can get offers on your house even in this market, how you can get a cash offer on your home. And we'll talk about some of our special guarantees, like 100% of market value, or I'll pay you the difference. And what is the best time to buy and sell? So, just talking about the market, I looked at the stats, and they're actually not as up to date as I like. I have a software that will do it daily, but I'm not getting daily feeds at the moment. I think it will just catch up after the holiday week. But essentially, what we're seeing is in the last 5 months, the median price has dropped about $30,000. That's a lot of money for most people. So if you are looking back on historic sales going, oh, that one back there sold for this number, so therefore people should be willing to pay that, it's just not working. And that's why we're seeing more and more home sellers, almost half of them have to lower their prices, and the average days on market continues to climb. We went from an average of 84 days on the market up to 89 days on the market. And there are more people lowering their price than there are people actually selling their home. Another huge factor in this are the mortgage rates. So um, most buyers buy on house payment. And if they can't afford the payment, they're not going to buy a house. Plus, if the rent is less than their payment would be, they're not going to buy a house, especially the first time home buyers. People that are moving up that have a down payment, they're really less affected by this, but the first time home buyers kind of have a trickle up effect on the rest of the market. And so it's important to consider this. At this time, the rates did come down from last week, just a little bit below 7. Now we're at 6.93% for a 30-year fixed. VA is about 6.25%. And again, these fluctuate daily, hourly during the week. So it'll be different by the time you probably the next show for sure. So what you need to know about that is if you see the conventional fixed rates of a 30-year mortgage drop down into the low sixes, we just saw right before the election that the number of pending sales kicked up. Now, I wish all these agents would educate the buyers that most of these lenders are offering deals out there like, hey, you can get 1% off your mortgage for the first year if you work with us. Our lenders are offering that deal, which is a fantastic deal. It gets buyers in the door so they can afford the payment for the first year and then make changes as they move forward. So those deals are out there. I would suggest to a buyer, while we have higher inventory right now, if you see the right home, don't wait. Work with a lender, shop for a lender to try and get the best deal because they are out there. And how do you get offers even in this market? Well, the way you do it is not by pricing. It's all about pricing it right and having it marketed the right way. And it's interesting when I talk to home sellers about what their home is worth, I would say probably 2/3 of them say, well, I looked at Zillow and Zillow said my house is worth X. I don't know if it's right or not. Or some people say, well, the tax assessor says my home is worth X. Therefore, that's what I'm expecting. And that is not a good strategy. All right, so let's talk about the different kinds of value. There is the automated value. That would be Zillow, Realtor.com. They're called automated valuation models. And in general, they average everything around you, but they don't know your improvements. They don't know if you have views, which add value. They don't know necessarily if you have a 3-car versus a 2-car, or if you finish the basement or not sometimes. So those valuations, oftentimes, I'd say at least half the time, are actually wrong. And then what about an appraised value? That is a professional person coming in, giving you an opinion of value about your home. Now, what they're looking at solely by their license, they are required to only look at historic sales. So if you're in a period where the prices are correcting, they're going to be behind the game right out of the gate because they're looking at historic sales that sold for probably more a few months ago, and they're telling you this is what your home is worth right now. It also depends on what the purpose of the appraisal is. If the appraisal is to get cash out, they're not so strict. So sometimes they will, help you get the value that you need, picking the best comps, even though they may not be 100% accurate. So if you're pricing your home to an appraisal that happened in the last year or two even, it may be too high, it may be wrong. The assessed value is what the tax man says what your home is worth. And that is absolutely by law based on its value 2 years ago. Well, to 2.5 years ago right now is, and that's the assessments that we're working off of currently, that is when the market values peaked. And that was before the Fed started raising the interest rates. So if you remember during that time, people were bidding on homes, multiple offers on everything, going way over asking price. So the tax man took the opportunity to use those valuations to affix property taxes to your home. And so that is probably not the current market value because the prices have corrected a little bit since then for sure. And then the last value is the market value. The market value is actually what a buyer will pay for your home. So if you're getting reasonable offers, that's a market value. Okay, it gives you a really good idea what a buyer will pay. And we can help you do that. And pricing a home correctly is a science. It takes somebody with experience, expertise, market knowledge, and I know that every seller wants the most money, right? And so the traditional philosophy is, hey, why don't we just price this home high for negotiating room? But that is absolutely a mistake because the buyers have all this data available to them. They can look at Zillow. If you bring a home up on a map on Zillow, it's going to give you its opinion of value of all the homes around you. So they'll be able to see immediately if they think your house is overpriced, and they won't even pick it to go look at it. So it's really, really important to price it right. And we can help you do that for sure. So if you are thinking of making a move, it's critical that you get what I call those 4 Ps right: preparation, pricing, picking the right agent, and making sure that agent promotes your home properly. So give us a call, 719-301-3900, or go to barbhasthebuyers.com. And we can help you do that. My name is Barb Schlinker, the broker owner of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. Barb Has the Buyers is my website. And I'm also the host of this show, Your Real Estate Voice. So we're talking about how do you sell a home in a market that's correcting and what you can do when it is doing that. And that's what we're going to talk about when we come back. Richard?
Barb, we're talking about whether or not it's harder to sell in the winter versus spring or summer months. How do home sellers know that their home will sell in the winter months and in this changing market environment?
Well, it's really important they pick the right agent that knows the market. That's key right there. I would say a majority of the agents do what I call post and hope. They post the home for sale and hope somebody has a buyer. The buyers really have a nose like a bloodhound for finding the best deals. And so if you're a buyer, don't wait to buy if you see a home out there that you like, because we can negotiate on interest rates and even closing costs and stuff like that. And if you're a seller, what you need to do is what I always recommend, which is price it what I call realistically versus optimistically. And if you don't do that and you slowly walk the price down, like a majority of sellers are doing right now, they're going to net less money. I helped a home seller fix his problem. He hired an agent that wasn't selling his house. He switched over to me and I got it done at full price in just 9 days. So we can help you price it realistically versus optimistically. And the market's going to tell us immediately if we're off target. So give us a call at 719-301-3900 or go to barbhasthebuyers.com. Richard?
You're listening to Your Real Estate Voice with Barb Schlinker, host of the program, proprietor and owner of Your Home Sold Guaranteed Realty. And if you are thinking of making a move, call Barb at 719-301-3900 or visit barbhasthebuyers.com. Short break. When we come back, we're going to be discussing which home improvements actually increase a home's value. Don't miss that.